Good afternoon, ADHD Unlocked page followers. Today is Friday, April the 1st. And I do know this because I think I got Steph good and proper this morning with a joke that I'd qualified in homeopathy, and we were now going to treat all our ADHD Unlocked members with homeopathy to cure their ADHD, which was my April Fool joke, which backfired a little because I did lose a few Twitter followers with posting that. But happy April anyway. So I'm Michelle Beckett. I'm one of the co-founders of ADHD Unlocked, and I'm joined as ever by the wonderful Stephanie Camilleri. Hello, Steph.
Hello, Mish. Yes, you got me good and proper on this April Fool's after my husband did that to my children, saying the crepes were off when indeed they were not, but the kids thought so and basically spat the rest of the crepe all over the floor. So yes, mischievous.
We do like our jokes. Do ADHDers, and April Fool's Day is a great day to do this. So Steph and I, we founded ADHD Unlocked. We're both adults with ADHD, and we both got late diagnosed. I was diagnosed 4 years ago, aged 44. And we founded ADHD Unlocked because we felt there was a need for something else for adults with ADHD, as well as medication, a weekly, a daily support system, so that as adults, we can realize that potential that we know we have. So I was an ADHD campaigner after my diagnosis, and I founded the All-Party Parliamentary Group for ADHD. I've written papers on women and girls, co-authored papers with ADHD. And Steph, you are a qualified ADHD coach, aren't you?
Yes, so I'm founder of the ADHD Advocate, trained with the ADD Coaching Academy. So yes, I'm a certified ADHD coach, got my ICF designation. But yeah, I coach adults, students with ADHD. I think I'm coming up to my fourth year now, at least starting that one. And obviously co-founder of ADHD Unlocked. And I found that, yeah, coaching is great. But what my clients were missing was that kind of education piece and the accountability, increasing accountability, because we know with ADHD, out of sight, out of mind. So we need to keep things very much in sight and in mind, and also the community element. So a lot of my ADHDers, when they come to me, they don't quite accept their diagnosis. They don't quite take my word for it, one ADHD. But when they're in that community, seeing everyone having the same issues, I mean, it's such a relief for them. And we've had comments, haven't we, Mish, that it's like they're talking to the same person sometimes.
Yeah, and it's just the lifting of shame, because I felt that shame for decades, since I was little. And some of our members go, I don't feel this shame anymore because we're all the same. And there was a quote that I read which said, shame dies when stories are shared in safe places, which is what our ADHD Unlocked community is all about. Now, we're doing delegation this week, and it's been really interesting because I've always had a real sense of shame, Steph, about delegation, because I struggled to delegate, and I thought, oh my goodness, am I a control freak? Is that why I struggle to delegate? People, why don't you just delegate this? Why don't you, get somebody to help you with this? Because you're not very good at the admin. You can't do that very well. You need to delegate. But actually, what I found was, I don't think it's a process of being a control freak. I'd love somebody to take that responsibility away from me and just do it. But it's actually getting from A to B that I found was the real struggle, because I just don't know where to start with them. And there's all that shame of how disorganized, my admin actually is, and the being found out when you have ADHD that you're so disorganized, and we're kind of winging it, and we kind of have this veneer of we're managing. And actually you think, if people saw what my desktop looked like, they'd be horrified. So that there's this shame, and there's the executive dysfunction. There's all sorts going on, isn't there, Steph?
Yeah, it's really difficult on so many levels, and often we're already so overwhelmed, have not given ourselves enough space to do a task, let alone kind of work out exactly what those steps are that are involved, and being able to communicate that to someone else to delegate, because the task is urgent. So we quite often just end up doing everything ourselves, right? And that's the issue. We really don't have the time, and some often we don't have the skills to do these things, and there are other people that are better placed to do them. But it's about kind of having that courage, really, in a lot of instances, to step back, carve out the space, and also get some help to be able to delegate, because this stuff is not easy.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the first steps, is letting go of that shame. And because it's one of those areas, because you're going to need help with the stuff you're not very good at, and we carry a lot of shame for particularly the things we probably need the most help with, and we're so embarrassed. So if we know how our ADHD impacts us, and we sit with our ADHD and we know, look, I find this difficult, it's part of my condition, and I totally accept that. And then you're honest about that. And the more you get to know your ADHD, the more you're able to be honest with other people and get the help that you actually need. And actually just saying to people, look, I really, really struggle with this. It's part of my condition. Please, will you help me actually through the process of what you need to do to help me? Because I struggle to even break that down. But if you talk it through with me, it'll get easier. So, let's have a conversation. I need to get from A to B. What can you help with? I can do this, you can do this. And actually the process of talking that through is one of the most important areas of delegation. But I always thought I needed to have all that ready, almost with a bullet point list for somebody to go, do this, do this, do this, find this here, these are the instructions. But actually that was the bit, putting that together was the worst bit for me.
Yeah, so I guess it's a relief, isn't it, to hear that it all kind of begins with, and you'll make it a better process if you go through that particular process of delegation with someone that can ask you the questions to be able to fill in the gaps, because they're the one that's, that are going to be doing the work. So it's really important that they've got whatever it is that they need to do it. So often, as you said, Mish, just having it all kind of written up yourself, maybe one, it's not the best way anyway. It could be that the person you're delegating to is a lot more across certain kind of platforms, may know a more efficient or a better way of doing it within your budget. So yeah, it's about kind of engaging that person in the process. So, it kind of makes sense not to have it all perfect before you delegate. You don't want to. It's actually not probably going to be the best way to do it.
And that word perfect is something that we struggle with, because we almost use perfection as a shield and almost a bit of a self-sabotage, and think, well, even if I did get it perfect, what if I still fail? We almost kind of use that as, because we've got things wrong, things haven't happened, we haven't realized our potential in our lives. So we almost use that perfection as a bit of a shield, a bit of a mask. So we have to try and let go of that sense of perfection and realize that getting it done is better than not having it done at all. But and thinking about the concept of it being done perfectly, because people won't do it the same as we will do it, but we have to let that go to some degree. Obviously you can't have it to the point where it has to be completely redone, and that's part of the process of working with somebody, body doubling, to actually go through the steps of delegation, but actually letting go of perfection. And one quote that came up yesterday from our members chat meeting that we have every Wednesday was, most of life is a draft. So we're always waiting to get things perfectly perfect, or our lives will start happening. With ADHD, because we've always kind of messed up, this is our mindset. We have to let go of this. Life is a draft.
Yeah. And, to aim for progress, not perfection. Exactly. And the thing is as well with delegation too, is that it's not just about us, it's about them, other people. For instance, if you're, say, like a manager, if you don't give responsibility, if you don't let your kind of people that work for you do the work, how are they going to learn? How are they going to grow? So it's not just about us. It always kind of helps as well with that kind of mindset. We tend to be able to do things for others that we can't do for ourselves. So thinking of the benefits to other people if we just let go a little bit.
Yes. And I mean, even your family, letting the kids do some of the cooking.
Yes.
They're not going to get the Yorkshire pudding batter quite right, but you just have to let that go. And that's the only way other people, you empower other people, even in the home, rather than trying to do it all yourself. And there is that guilt attached to other people doing things for you. If you've always done things for yourself, if you've had that kind of childhood, where you've had to be quite self-sufficient, or you've worked for yourself, or you've been a single parent, as I have for many years, you feel guilty and you feel like you owe somebody something if they're just helping, but they want to help. So it's about going through all these reasons why you feel uncomfortable with it, looking under the hood, as we do at ADHD Unlocked, and then it all starts to fall into place, and that process starts to become much easier. I've been managing it this week and been delegating to my daughter in the house, and delegating other tasks for work, and it's and being a bit less anxious about it. So it's really working.
Yeah, it's so worth investing in. And I guess what you said earlier, Mish, about self-acceptance and accepting your ADHD, that is crucial. You've got to have the right mindset to be able to do this. And so you can basically focus on what you do best. And just kind of finishing up, Dr. Hallowell's new book, ADHD 2.0, he kind of emphasizes that the goal of us about, as having ADHD shouldn't be independence, it's interdependence. So I really think, again, it's very apt for in relation to this particular topic of delegation, because, we have certain weaknesses due to the condition that are always going to be difficult. And well, as Michelle and I believe, we feel that we very much take a strengths-based approach to ADHD and encourage our ADHDers to lean into their strengths and delegate the weaknesses as best you can.
Yeah, exactly. And that is what it's all about. And we are all about reaching your potential, working on your strengths, getting support with the challenges and the ADHD Unlocked community, and in a community of people that we all get it, letting go of shame and completely understanding and accepting your ADHD and being happy and well. So we not only focus on getting things done, it's about well-being and happiness and living our best lives, as I believe you only get one. So let's make the best of it. And we feel that we've had so many wasted years with ADHD, don't we? Yeah. So this is what we're about with the ADHD Unlocked community. So this is the last day we've extended because people have ADHD and they forgot to sign up. We still have 20% off. We've extended it for another day. So you can find out more about us by going to adhdunlocked.co.uk. You can sign up for our newsletter, even if you scroll all the way to the bottom of the homepage. But if you do want to join us on the last day of our 20% off, it's just 62 pence a day to join the community. And so many live events a week drop in. They're not all compulsory. They're just there if you need them. Our members portal is full of resources, all searchable by topic, videos, downloadable PDFs, audio, podcasts, slide presentations on the topics which affect you as adults with ADHD. So do join us. Go to members.adhdunlocked.co.uk/shop for the last day for 20% off. So have a wonderful, wonderful Easter. Why don't you delegate the Easter egg buying to somebody or the cooking of the Easter lunch to somebody else? But we do hope you have a wonderful, wonderful bank holiday rest and top up your tanks, because topping up your tanks really important, isn't it, Steph?
Yeah, create space for yourself.
Yeah, so rest and breathe. And next week, do join us, because we're looking at the topic of how forgetful we are and what strategies we can employ and share so that we don't drop balls through the net, and we can we remember the important things and don't forget things that are important to us. So join us next week. We're back on Tuesday and we will see you soon. So thank you very much and have a great bank holiday. Bye-bye.
Bye.